Hi and welcome to episode 4 of the Yarn Lovers podcast. If you're checking us out for the first time, then thank you, and if you're returning, then welcome back. First of all, I would like to apologise for my mop of hair. My partner stayed away last night on business and he's taken the only hairbrush in the house, so I'm a bit straggly and I really need a haircut. I apparently also need to dye my hair because I'm going very grey. First of all, I would like to give a few shout outs. Thank you very much to Sarah of the Apple Blossom and You podcast, who gifted me the Even Star shawl pattern by Susan Pandorf on Ravelry, and it's the first pattern I've ever been gifted, so thank you very much, that was very generous of you. I would also like to give a shout out to a plurk friend called Flancers, who is currently having a sale in her Etsy store. There is a code which will get you free shipping. Her store is ear adornment, etc., and she sells earrings and stitch markers. I have ordered some stitch markers. The code entitles you to free shipping, so it is STPAT 2012. So if you're in the market for some earrings or some stitch markers, then go and check that out, and I will link to it in the show notes. I hope everyone is well this week. I can't remember what I've done. The only thing that springs to mind is we went shopping on Saturday a few times over. My partner had bought 2 new suits and a new suit jacket a month back, and decided that he needed to take the suit jacket back because it was too short. There was much umming and ahhing and deciding whether to take it back or not, but he had to take it back on Saturday because otherwise they wouldn't have refunded him the money. So we couldn't find another suit jacket, but he did buy a very nice shirt, which was very expensive. So I think that's him kitted out for the next year or two, suit and shirt wise. We took the little one. We don't normally take him on such shopping trips, but we decided to take him. It was a nice day and it's good to get him out of the house. And it turned into a complete disaster or a nightmare. He's 5, he's nearly 6, and if any of you have a 5-year-old or have had a 5-year-old, you will understand that these things can very, very quickly descend into absolute chaos when the 5-year-old decides that he wants something. In this case, it was ice cream. We tend not to give him ice cream because he gets very, very hyperactive, and then he has a huge calm down afterwards. So we wouldn't allow him to have ice cream. So he lay in the middle of the shopping centre on the floor, kicking and screaming that we wouldn't give him ice cream, and it took us a very long time to calm him down. And of course everybody's walking past and looking at you and, oh God, I have that child. Excuse me, itchy nose. So whilst it was nice to get out and go somewhere different, it was a bit stressful, and it was nice to get home at the end of it. Did go to the haberdashery department in the department store and squeeze all the yarn briefly before the 5-year-old got bored and started kicking off again. Right, I do not have any finished objects this week. I had a whole load finished last week, if you remember. So we're on the needles. Now, I'll get the boring one out of the way first. I got slightly further with the Chinook shawl, which is there. I think I did possibly 7 or 8 rows. I've got into another colour change, which is quite difficult to see. It changes just there. And I think I've done 2 rows of the new colour, so it's knit with 2 strands of yarn, so 2 little balls there. I think it's only another 7 or 8 rows before I'm on to another colour change, and then I add in yellow, which will make it a bit more interesting. Hopefully. It's very, very easy to knit. It's really mindless. Now, socks. I had a sock disaster. I was going to cast on a pair of socks for a friend's girlfriend in return for something which I'll show you later on. And I started winding the yarn, and I don't know what happened. I had my son sitting on the sofa with his hands like this, and it got very, very tangled very quickly, and we had to give up, and it ended up in just a huge knot, and I sat for 20 minutes trying to untangle it, and eventually gave up and was ready to bin the yarn, and my partner said, "No, don't bin the yarn, I'll untangle it." And I thought, oh, okay. And he sat on the sofa, and he doesn't watch television, but he sat and watched 4, 5, 6 possibly episodes of The West Wing, and for 4.5 hours he untangled this yarn. And yes, it did take him 4.5 hours. The yarn itself is, I showed it last week, it's Sheepy Time Panda Feet, even feet, in the grape colourway, and it's superwash merino and bamboo. It's a nice pretty purple colour. So, while he was untangling the yarn, I decided that I'm not knitting anything, I need to knit socks. So I cast on a pair of socks, and I cast on the next pattern in the Knit Sock Love book, which was BFF. There we go. It's nice. It's fairly straightforward. It's very straightforward cookie pattern actually. It's got a nice little cable running down it. So I cast this on, and I'm knitting this out of Knit Pick Stroll in the Peapod colourway, which is a nice bright limey green. And I got to there, and I snapped a needle. And I'm very, very annoyed. I've got another thicker needle holding it in place, just snapped there. These are size 1 needles, they're 2.25mm, and they're bamboo, and they bend and eventually they snap. So yesterday I ordered a cable needle, a circular needle, sorry. And I ordered metal ones because I'm sick of snapping these little DPNs. I think I've been through probably 3 sets in the last 6 months or so, and they cost £5 or £6 a throw. So, you know, that's getting a bit silly because I do keep breaking them. So hopefully I would snap the metal ones, and we'll see how that goes, although I will have to magic loop, and I'm not used to magic looping, so I have done it in the past, but not for a long time, and I think I only did it the once to make a pair of mittens. So I cast on another sock, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought, I haven't ever knit a sock with an afterthought heel before, so I decided to do an afterthought heel. And I used the Laura from the Knit Girls has an afterthought heel sock pattern. It's Laura Linderman, and I managed to get one done in a day. There we go. The toe and the heel are again the Knit Pick Stroll in the Peapod colourway, and the stripe part is Knit Picks Stroll Multi in the Meadow colourway. And I think that's rather nice. The green doesn't exactly match, but it's close enough. And I've never knit sock with a different toe and a different colour toe and heel before, so I'm quite pleased. I like the striping. I wasn't sure if it was going to stripe, but it did. I knit it the small size, so it was 56 stitches I think I have. As you can probably tell, very, very small feet. I'm a UK size 3, but I don't know what that equates to in the US. I think child size. I can actually get away with sometimes buying children's shoes, which pay no tax on, which is good, so I get them fairly cheap. I also need to buy children's gloves because adult gloves do not fit my very small hands. So that was the socks. I should get the needles fairly soon. I ordered them yesterday, so they shouldn't take too long, I wouldn't have thought. And then I will get back onto that one and I'll knit the other one of the Afterthought heel one. I did those in a slightly bigger needle, which is why I could do it. I also had a set of 2.5mm, which I think is a US 1.5 if I'm not mistaken. So that was easy. The other thing I have on the needles is wonderful. I think I said last week that I was thinking about making the let me get this the right way around. Thinking about making the Hogwarts Express shawl with the little owls on it. So I cast this on the other day. I'm knitting this out of my Sheepy Time Club yarn for February, which is a yarn called something Pearl Necklace, and it's in the grey matter colourway, which is actually more brown than grey. There we go. It's not very deep. The pattern works on a proportion system, a percentage system, so you do the garter stitch part until you have a certain percentage of yarn left, and I think I sort of overestimated the amount of yarn that I have left. My scales, I don't know if you can see them in the background there. I have Balance Kitchen Balance scales, and whilst they are accurate and I love them, they're fantastic for cooking and they're very pretty. Their scale doesn't go down far enough. The closest I can get to is 5 or 10 grams. So there we go. I put the beads on yesterday. I've never done beading before, but it's really, really easy. I used the crochet hook method, and you just pops right on. I've got 21 little owlies, and I'm at halfway down the body of them. I just think that's so cool. Whoever discovered that you could make owls out of cables is just a genius. I'm probably going to do a fair amount of border along the bottom just because of the amount of yarn that I've got left. I don't know, I would have to weigh it, but I think I've got plenty to do, a good few rows on the edge. I'm thinking of giving this to my mother for Mother's Day, which is Sunday. It's now Wednesday. I'd have to post it to Scotland, so perhaps not. But I probably will give it to my mother. She's Harry Potter daft, so she will appreciate the Hogwarts Express name and also the little owls. I really, really like that. It's so cool. And I should be finished it before next week, hopefully. Right, what's new this week? I didn't buy any yarn. I have ordered some stitch markers. I may actually give some of them away once I've received them, but it'll take a while because they're coming from the States. Thankfully for the free shipping, it's just fantastic. I actually felt really guilty ordering stitch markers from this poor woman because the postage costs more than the stitch markers, and I thought, God, is she going to have to, lose money by posting me stitch markers, because she's still going to have to pay for the postage. Obviously she's not getting it for free, although she's giving it for free, so I hope she's not lost too much money. And I ordered 2 sets, so we will see when I get them. Hopefully it will be soon. It's not a huge package for stitch markers, just a little envelope. The other thing I got is my wonderful friend Aaron made me a yarn swift, which is fantastic. I won't show you because although it flat packs, it is huge. It doesn't quite fit on my dining table, or the span of it's larger than my dining table. It will fit on the dining table, but it does come over the edge a bit. And it works. I got it yesterday and I tested it and it's great. I managed to wind a nice ball of yarn, and hopefully that will stop my poor partner from having to sit there for 4 hours and untangle. I don't know how he has the patience. I completely lost the rag with it after 15-20 minutes. Just it's so frustrating. But he likes the puzzle, he says. Whatever floats your boat. So I have a yarn winder, not a yarn winder, a yarn swift, which is great. Now all I need to do is con someone into buying me a ball winder, or save up for a ball winder. I have a job interview tomorrow, so hopefully I will soon be employed and have some sort of income. I've been unemployed since I moved here. Technically I've been unemployed since the end of June, but I actually stopped working 3 months before that because there was a 3-month notice period. So I got paid up until the end of June. Technically I don't actually have to work. I am clothed and fed and housed, and get most things that I want or need, but it would be very, very nice to have some sort of income, A, to contribute, and B, to spend on yarn. My partner said to me the other day, because I'm basically on a yarn diet, not because I want to be on a yarn diet, but because I don't have any money to spend. I really hit the bottom of my bank account last week. I had £3 or £4 left, which is horrible. And he said that you end up with a yarn deficit, like sleep deficit. So once you do get money in, you're just going to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on wool and yarn and stitch markers and various other things, and ball winders and patterns, and oh god, the things I could buy. I could spend £1,000 on Etsy very, very easily just buying hand-dyed yarn. And I saw someone post on Flirk yesterday, or the day before, all the pretty yarn will still be there even when you're not on your yarn diet, and I thought it's actually quite true. It's a fairly helpful comment, because I do look at Etsy and people link it and go, oh god, I want that. I want the self-striping stuff, and I want the this, and I want the that, and I want the silk, and I want the stitch markers, and goodness knows all what, and I want new knitting needles. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully I will be employed at some point very, very soon, and that will give me money to buy yarn and possibly contribute to rent and food and various tax, council tax bill this morning for £1,600 or something. That's horrible. What else have I got in my notes? Right, the only other thing I have been doing this week is sewing. I have been making bags. These are project bags. I've actually just this morning started trying to sell these on Etsy. If you want one, then the store is etsy.com/shop/yarn-lovers, and I will link to it obviously. Little project bags, little box bags. I'm making these from sweaters bought from charity shops or thrift stores, whatever they're called in the States. And the lining is batik. It's got a little dragonfly on it. It's quite pretty. That's one of the more muted ones. I'll show you the lining again. There we go. And it fits yarn in quite happily. So that's one. I like this one. This one's it's beautiful colour. I realise it's very bright and it's not to everyone's taste, but I really, really like that colour. And the batik's very bright as well. I'll show you the lining. There we go. So if you would like a project bag, they are available on Etsy. I've also got a black one, and I'll make some more later on. This is actually my old sweater. But the rest are from there. I think I actually bought that sweater not very long ago, but in a charity shop, so it is actually also from the charity shop. Any sweater that I do try and use most of the sweater as much as possible, and any I don't use I will recycle. I've also got this big one here which I made a while ago, from another sweater one. It's got a handle, it's more like a messenger bag. So if you're interested in those at all, then they are available on Etsy. Again, I will link to the shop in the show notes, and I may well give one away next week, possibly with some stitch markers. And I need to make some more. I've been really fighting with my sewing machine. I got the sewing machine just before Christmas, and I got it on free cycle, which is great. I got it for nothing, because I needed to make a costume for my son's Christmas performance. He was a Roman soldier and I needed to make him a costume. So, and it's a nice little sewing machine. It's 30 years old though, 20-30 years old. It's a Singer, and it's a bit temperamental. If you change the tension, it has a fit, and unfortunately the presser, the pedal, the control pedal, is completely knackered. It's really, really dodgy. Occasionally, I can get it going at slower speeds, but mainly it just goes at full speed. And it's very, very difficult to keep it straight line when you're showing at full speed. I did manage it with these. There was a lot of unpicking things and redo. So the other half has offered to buy me a sewing machine, a new sewing machine. So I'm looking into that at the moment. I don't know. I've had various sewing machines actually, but I'm not quite sure what the best one is to get. Probably looking at another Singer about £200 mark. I don't want to spend a huge amount of money on it, and I don't need anything fancy. I just need something that will go at slightly slower speed than my kitchen table's walking across the floor when the thing is going. The neighbours are banging on the wall. So we'll look into that. he's given me a decision to make. Actually, he'd offered to buy me the full set of Knit Picks interchangeable circular needles, because at the moment I only have 3 sizes. 2 or 3 sizes? 2, I think. And he'd offered to buy me the set a few weeks ago, and now he's saying, you know, you can either have the needles or you can have the sewing machine, and I really, really, really want the needles. But I need the sewing machine, I think. So we'll see. If I get a job, I can have both. I think my first purchase, if I get a job, is apart from a very large gift, a very big bottle of wine for my partner for supporting me for such a long time. Without a job is a decent set of needles. I'm very, very happy with these ones, the Symphony or Harmony wood needles. The Knit Picks ones are their Knit Pro in the UK, but they're the same thing. The cable's fantastically bendy, and the needles are pointy enough. Nothing snags and nothing catches on the screw parts, so they're great. I've never experienced any other kind of needles, but I'm perfectly happy with those. And they're fairly reasonably priced, so that's good. My mum gave me a couple of circular needles. She gave me whole wood knitting needles, straight ones, very old. I think they were my grandmother's. She gave me 2 or 3 circular needles, and they're the ones that have got the bend in them, the old metal ones, and the cable is metal, twisted wire as well. Horrible. I can't work with them. They're too rigid, and they're springy, and just go all over the place, and they're very difficult. So once I discovered these Knit Picks ones, I was so happy. Right, let me just check the notes to see if there is anything else. Nope, I think that's it for this week. Oh, I know what I forgot. You can find me on Ravelry as Caliastra. My name is Lindsay, I think. And you can find me on Plurk Facebook and Twitter as Yarn Lovers. That should have gone in at the beginning, but never mind. Okay, right, that's your lot for this week. Sorry, I'm now completely distracted. My brain is not working today. I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and enjoy yourself. Goodbye.